Hey guys, it's KPkiller here, and today I'm joined by Cube.
Peekaboo.
And today we're going to be showing you this contraption that we've built. And also, you need to turn the difficulty to 0.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, don't worry. So we're going to be showing you this. This is our entry to the Maizuma challenge number 4, the ABBA-Caving wind detection system. And for those of you that don't know what ABBA-Caving is, basically, in this case it's 2 teams go off and collect as many resources as possible from caving, and each item they collect has a different value. The values of each item will be on the screen, and it's our job to detect the player who has the highest net value, and that was the challenge. So, yeah, that's basically it. We have some test shulker boxes here with some items, they'll be on screen. And we also have the total values of all the items, and we're going to be using these to test. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the way in which you use the system is you get your shulker boxes, and you just drop them in the chest, and everything starts by itself. And then, all you have to do is wait for it to finish. These lights will start blinking, and then they'll stop blinking. Once they stop, the winners will stay on, the losers will turn off. If they both tie, they'll both turn off. So, I guess it's time-lapse time now, so wait until it's finished. Alright, so it's done.
Yes.
And
No one saw me fail my own tutorial there. No one. No one.
you messed it up, man. You didn't get enough time
Shut
to
the
build it.
fuck up.
That's
Yeah, I
how
was
fast this thing is. That's how fast. That's a pro.
I was rushing it and I was starting from the bottom. I usually only start from the input, so I was like, I had no plan where nothing would go.
Doesn't matter. That's not the focus of this video.
Yes,
The
it
focus is, if we go back, I'll put it on screen. You'll see that the red actually wins by 2 points, and we can check that in a second. But all of our items are back here, along with the shulker boxes. So, yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, red wins, so that means there's no items over here. So if you look in this dispenser, dropper, sorry, you can see how many items people win by. So that over here it should be 2. And yeah, so there you go, it works. And now we're gonna get onto the explanation, I think.
Yes.
Alright, so be ready for some smooth editing. But first, we're going to prove the reset works. And there you go.
Oh my god,
Oh my
technology!
So yeah, see you in the next segment.
So now onto how this works. Since both sides are identical, we will explain it on the left half. Everything kicks off with the 2 chests in which you put your shulker boxes in. The items are passed into the orange circuit, which has 2 functions: emptying the shulker boxes and destroying them, while actually filtering them out so that they never actually hit the sorting system.
Next up is the sorting system. The items from the orange circuit travel along these hoppers up the dropper tower and through these hoppers to the cyan circuit. This is your standard item sorter for each of the stackable items that the system is meant to handle. However, at the end, all the unsorted items are just counted. Take note that only stackable items have enough signal strength to power the counter. This means things like iron ingots, for example, get ignored. Due to the way that the standard item sorter works, these droppers here actually get pulsed the same amount of times as there are of the respective item.
This means after all the items have been sorted, the droppers at the bottom contain the amount of each item inputted. Also, the items inputted continue to flow to the main dropper tower. As well as that, the shulker boxes outputted from the orange circuit meet up with this main channel of hoppers and are placed in the main dropper tower as well. This gray circuit here just detects when there are items that need moving into the output chest, starts the clock and powers all of the droppers. Pretty simple. But it's more than your standard item elevator. You see, we wanted to know when all of the items had finished being sorted to start the item count to item value conversion. So this gray actually powers this pulse extender, which goes to the magenta circuit on each side. This is the only non-symmetric part of the system, by the way. This means once all of the items are in the chest, this gray circuit will stop giving pulses and the pulse extender will turn off. We will get back to why this is important later, as it will make more sense as to why we need it once you understand how the other circuits work.
Let's talk about the blue circuit. All it does is detect when there's items in the bottom dropper, gives out one pulse to the light blue circuit while subtracting one item simultaneously from the bottom dropper. The pulse that powers the dropper also powers this piston, which results in the entire thing clocking until there are no items left. The light blue then takes the pulses and powers different sets of droppers depending on which counter the pulse came from. This is because each item has a different value. We have 5 different sets of droppers, each containing different amounts of droppers. There's a set of 10, a set of 5, 2 sets of 2, and 1 by itself. These are needed to make up the scores. Say for example a golden apple was put into the system. It needs to fire 15 droppers, because it has a score of 15. It would fire the set of 10 droppers and the set of 5. It should go without saying that then all of these items are funneled into the score comparison circuit.
Values of 10, 5, 2 and 1 points are self-explanatory. 7 points are added by firing the set of 5 and the lower set of 2, the 3 uses the upper set of 2 and the single dropper. By adding a second set of 2 we were able to cut another slice off the side. Yay! However, this way of counting value brings up a problem. There are certain items which cannot be calculated at the same time because they use the same set of droppers. For example, we have golden apples and name tags. They both use the set of 5, which means they have to be calculated at separate times, to prevent the droppers from being powered by both clocks simultaneously and thus losing 5 points.
This is where the purple circuit comes in. The purple is basically a control circuit for the blue. It makes sure that items are only being calculated at the same time if they do not use any of the same sets of droppers. Back here there's a tape that cycles through 5 different states. The signals go through to the blue circuit, unlocking the items that can be calculated at the same time, while keeping the rest locked. The tape is cycled when there are no items left in the counters that are currently being emptied. This is done because the light blue circuit gives a pulse to the purple circuit whenever any item is being calculated. Add a pulse extender and a falling edge monostable and boom, the perfect pulse to cycle through the circuit. Sort of. There is one case where this won't work. When the tape gets put into a state where there are in fact no items to be calculated, no pulse will go through to the pulse extender and hence the falling edge will never fire. In order to fix this we made a failsafe circuit. This is the magenta.
Basically, there's a clock with an item counter. When the line is off for too long, the signal from this item counter can power the falling edge. The item counter will automatically have no items left when the tape has gone through all 5 states, which in turn stops the clock. Remember the falling edge which cycles the tape? Because that takes a while, we could potentially lose items if they happen to be sorted between the falling edge being activated and the tape finishing due to the way we lock the blue circuits. That's why we needed to wait until all items are counted, and the only way to detect this, because this was another thing we had to add at the end, everything is pretty compact everywhere else, is by hooking it up to the middle item elevator. The falling edge is directly hooked up to the pulse extender from the middle, which means the tape cannot start cycling through the items until the sorting process is finished and the current items has been calculated.
If you've understood everything so far, congratulations! Because now we're getting onto probably the simplest part of the system, the score comparison. Each side has a dropper which contains the amount of items equal to their score. If it's more than the dropper can contain, then there's bulk storage to prevent backflow also. The green circuit now checks if there is at least one item in each of the droppers. If there is, it will send one pulse up the dropper towers on each side, refilling the storage. This happens until one of the droppers is empty, which indicates that the winner has been found. The dropper which still contains items powers the lamp and boom, we have a winner. Finally, we can explain the dark green circuit. This is just the reset. It checks if either dropper contains any item and then pulses both droppers until they are both empty.
Oh, by the way, we had finished our design on a server and were ready to submit our design to Maizuma, However, when we moved it to a single player world and tested, everything f***ing broke. Following this realization, we sat down for an 8-hour bug fix marathon, giving birth to the existence of the Magenta circuit. That thing actually skipped all the way right through puberty, and it fixed 5 more bugs than it was intended to somehow, which allowed us to prepare the world with a few Easter eggs and still have enough time for submitting it. So that's about it really. If you want a tutorial, go f*** yourself. However, we may consider doing an in-depth explanation if there are enough comments and likes and subscribes and monies generated from this.
Thank you for watching. Go check out both our channels for more cool content like this. Best of luck to everyone that has entered the challenge. I'm KPkiller.
I'm Cube.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.